Hey guys, what's up? It's Crypto Chuck, and today in this video, I'll be telling you about the time I lost my wallet and passport at a Bitcoin mansion party in Las Vegas. So the story starts at Bitcoin 2025. What started out as a normal day led me on a side quest that I'm still shaking my head, thinking like, did this actually happen? Did this really happen? But it did, and it completely changed how I see the world. It it was crazy. So I'm walking around the convention, and it's pretty normal. I'm just talking to the different people at the convention and the different projects, and I see this one with a pedal bike, and I'm like, I'm gonna go check this out. And there's a big crowd of people all around the pedal bike. There's this announcer that's like literally like, talking like a game show host, getting everybody up there. And the goal is to pedal on the bike to generate electricity to try and beat a Bitcoin miner. So me being me, I was like, I could totally beat a Bitcoin miner. Long story short, I almost threw up after I got off the bike because it's a lot harder than it looked. And yeah, I kind of took an L there, and I got pretty humbled. But after that, I was walking around the convention and I saw this Squid Game booth where you could actually play the games in Squid Game to earn free Bitcoin. And I got like $20 in Bitcoin for winning 2 out of 3 of the games. But the third game that I could not win was the cookie cutting game where you had to like etch the shape out of it. I'm sure if you've seen the video, like the TV series, you've seen it, but it's a lot harder than it looks. So fast forward a couple hours, and there I am at the Bitcoin beach party at Mike Tyson's actual tiger mansion, like the one that he had tigers in. You walk in, and in the foyer, you like look up, and it's 2 stories, and on the roof is all like a mural of Mike Tyson and the tiger and everything. So it was super cool. But there I am, sitting poolside, palm trees above me, and there are these people that are walking around, and they're offering everybody pina coladas and ice cream and pizza, and it was just phenomenal. I was like, I was in paradise. While I was sitting poolside, I met these 2 really amazing guys, and they were literal cyborgs. Like, I thought they were just messing it with me at first, but they had full-on NFC chip implants in their hand, and if I scanned it with my phone, their business card would pop up. So that was insane. One of the dudes had like magnetic fingers, and he was saying that he could feel the magnetic field just like another texture, which was absolutely insane. But long story short, phenomenal event. Huge thank you to Trio and Bruff for helping me out and helping me get in because I was having issues, and there was actually another family that was having issues with the QR code to get into it. And while we were walking in, Bruff asked if there was anybody else having issues, and I was like, yeah, the family right over there is having the same issues. So it was super sweet, like, of him to help us out and Trio to put on this event because it was phenomenal. As the event was coming to an end, I was thinking to myself, like, might as well go back to my hotel room and drop off all the stuff that I got during the convention today because I didn't want to carry it around. And I also felt kind of dumb for coming to a pool party in jean shorts because I couldn't really jump in the pool. When I finally get onto the shuttle bus, I have a Modelo in my hand, and I see the same family that I helped get into the event, and their kids were sitting there, and I'm like, I don't really want to drink this Modelo by the kids, so I went to the back of the bus. All of a sudden, the driver made an unexpected stop at my hotel, which was like a 30 to 45-minute walk from the Venetian, so I was like, this is my perfect chance to get off, and I don't really have to walk back or take the bus, and I thought this was amazing. So in a rush, I frantically grab my merch bag, but leave the more important shoulder bag with my passport and wallet inside of it. I'm walking down the strip, and these 4 people are telling me, who also got off the bus, telling me about a project that they're doing where they bought this rare piece of art and they split it into like 6 fragments, And as they're explaining the story, I kind of go to grab my bag to grab my card. And all of a sudden, it's like, I feel nothing. My shoulder's bare. The strap that should be there isn't there. And I realize, I'm like, oh shoot, my passport was left on the bus. So there I am, standing outside of my hotel. The panic sets in, and I'm like, what do I do? I quickly message the Telegram group chat and tell them that I left my bag on the bus with my passport, trying not to freak out, and I see my phone at 20%. So I make the split-second decision to start sprinting down Las Vegas Strip and try to catch the bus. Luckily, while I was like crossing the street on the skywalk, I see a bus like sitting there, like a city bus. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go take the city bus to the Venetian and hopefully I'll make it in time. So I'm like dodging tourists, running around, literally like a madman. And my phone flies out almost under the bus. Luckily, I waved to the bus driver and they stopped. That whole bus ride, I was filled with so much anxiety and just trying to calm myself down, like not trying to freak out. By the time I got to the Venetian, the bus had already left though and dropped people off and was heading back to the mansion. So I was just sitting there absolutely defeated. While I was sitting there, this dude named Wally came up to me and just asked if this was where, we wait for the shuttle bus. And I was like, yeah. And we started talking and I started explaining my situation. I'm just like, sorry, my mind is elsewhere. Like, I lost my passport. And jokingly, he was like, oh, you're the passport guy from the Telegram group chat. I'm like, yeah, exactly. And I'm so appreciative of Wally, like, literally being there in that moment because he started, like, telling me, bro, like, I've been there so many times. I've lost my bag. I've lost my phone. And I found it. Like, there's good people in this community and you're gonna get the bag back. Like, you just have to visualize it on your shoulder. And in the back of my head, I'm like, what is visualizing it on my shoulder gonna do? But there was some wisdom in that. Like, I was like, I could let this ruin my night, or I could visualize it back on my shoulder, and it actually started making me feel better. When the bus finally got back to the Venetian, Wally helped me search the bus extensively. Like, I'm on my hands, my knees, crawling around the bus with my flashlight, looking under everything. Wally has another flashlight, and once again, no luck. So I'm like, the next place that it could be was the mansion. Maybe somebody turned it in at the mansion. Once again, we meet up with Bruff. He lets us in and he tells us where to go to search for it. After 20 to 30 minutes of searching, once again, no luck. So I pull out my phone and I look at it. And what do I see? I see my phone at 1%. And I'm like, great. At this point, I'm like really trying hard not to freak out. And I'm like, I need a drink. And I want to talk to some of the other people at this event. So I had ordered a plush and I wanted to go pick it up. So I went to the booth to go pick it up with a drink in hand, and I just started talking to everybody at the table about my situation and about my night. And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Hopefully you get it back. And at this point, everyone at the party knows me as the passport guy who lost their passport. Luckily, one of the guys at the table let me use their charger and charge my phone. So as my phone's charging, I'm helping out at the Bitcoin Puppets table, just handing out merch and helping out with orders. I decide to go look at my phone. And what do I see? I see a notification from LinkedIn. LinkedIn of all things. And a message from a dude named Kyle saying, hey brother, I have your bag / man purse. And here's my phone number. And I'm just like freaking out. Like, I'm trying to go tell everybody. I'm like, oh my God, I found my bag. Frantically, I'm running around Mike Tyson's Tiger Mansion. And I'm trying to find Wally, the cyborgs, and everybody else who helped me try and find my bag. And just let them know that someone messaged me on LinkedIn, said they have my bag. It's safe, and it's on the strip. And I'm going to go meet up with them. So Kyle tells me that he's at a wizard party on the strip and sends me the location. So I beeline to the strip, back to the Venetian, and I'm like power walking once again down the strip to get to the link and to go meet up with Kyle. And in the back of my head, I'm like, oh shoot, I don't have a ticket to this event. Like, are they even gonna let me in? So I just go up and I'm like out of breath, and I explain the situation. I'm like, I lost my bag. I'm supposed to meet up with a gentleman here named Kyle. And she just smiles knowingly. She's like, yeah, like, I know who you're talking about. Someone came in and explained this to me. I'm just like completely flabbergasted with this whole situation. Like, I'm meeting up with someone named Kyle at a Wizards party, and like, they all know what I'm talking about. But like, if I explain this to anyone else, they'll think I'm crazy. So I walk into the event, and it's like hazy, dreamy. There are wizard hats and robes on the table. They're like iridescent. There are hardly any people there. So I just go around and I'm like, hey, are you a gentleman named Kyle? And everybody is just looking at me like, what are you talking about? And they shake their head. And honestly, I just laugh because I'm like, how can my night get any weirder? So I scan around the whole venue and I see these two grand wizards just standing there. And they're dressed to the nines, like full on capes, a huge hat, beard, everything. And I go up to them and I'm like, are you a gentleman named Kyle? Once again, they're like, no. But if you want, we have something that might help. And I was like, sure, what is it? They're like, do you want to go upstairs? And I'm like, what's upstairs? And they looked at me, parted these beaded curtains, and gave me 2 M&Ms. And they said, these are some drugs to help you with your journey. I'm walking up the stairs, and it feels like I'm tripping on drugs. Like, it's just such a cool venue. And to my surprise, I see even more wizards and even more wizard robes. And I go around, and I'm like, are you Kyle? Are you Kyle? And once again, no luck. But then, eventually, a gentleman comes over, waving his phone case at me, and he's like, Ben. And I'm like, yes. And sure enough, it's Kyle. And Kyle is the same person who I helped get into the event, and I helped their family get into the event. And then I also moved away from their, like, his kids on the bus. So it was just this like crazy full circle moment. We started talking, and he's like, hey, I have a weird question. Can I turn you into a Pepe? And I'm like, as my night couldn't get any more weirder, sure. And I gave him a hug because like words could not express my gratitude, and I couldn't believe my bag was back on my shoulder, just like Wally said. Kyle and I continue talking for a while, and I'm just like, what can I do to help him? So I asked if I can buy him a drink, and he just looks at me and he smiles, and he's like, this is an open bar event. And we kind of just both laugh, go over to the bar, and start talking to the bartender, and we're like, hey, have you ever heard of Bitcoin? And she's like, no, but I've wanted to. And Kyle sees it as an opportunity to like educate someone who's never been a part of Bitcoin, get her to set up a wallet, get her to secure it, and then send her $50 in Bitcoin and turn her into a Pepe. So that was just crazy. But then he asks if I want to go to another party at the Tao after this, and I'm just like, sure. As we're walking over to the event, I ask Kyle, I'm like, oh, like, what's this party about? And he's like, oh, it's this founder and CEO VIP, something like that, after party. And I'm just like, oh, like, am I underdressed? Because I was so excited when I got my bag back on the shoulder that I had to grab a wizard hat and cape. So I was walking down the strip, dressed as a wizard, walking into this event. We get up there, and it's like this gated entrance with like nobody at the front, and we're walking up the stairs, and I'm just dressed as a wizard, and I walk into this event, and I see everybody dressed to the nines in suits and tuxes, and there I am in jean shorts, a wizard hat, and a cape. And like, I feel people looking at me, but I'm just laughing because I'm like, this day can't get any crazier. Like, what is even going on? And I was so happy that I went to the after party with Kyle, because at this party, I met another gentleman named Leon, and he shared one of those stories that just sends tingles through your body. Like, it just put me in awe. It was like, it echoed this energy that I've been feeling throughout the conference with everybody who I met, and this sense that something bigger was happening with, like, through the connections being made. And I think a good way to describe it is he talked about this saying that together we rise, and he spoke about the power of like coming together, not in spite of our differences but because of them. And when we show up with open hearts, let go of our ego, and truly build with one another, that's how we move forward, and that's how we create the future we want. And like it was just so cool meeting people who live that energy. So before I wrap this story up, I want to tell you about one more crazy connection that happened. If you guys remember Wally, the guy who helped calm me down, when we were outside waiting for the shuttle bus, we were talking about the convention and some of the keynotes that we like going to. And he told me about this decentralized science keynote that he went to that he really liked because they were talking about astral projection, lucid dreaming, and things of that nature. And I said, hey, like, it's super funny that you mentioned decentralized science because, like, I met these literal cyborgs at the Bitcoin Beach event this afternoon, and they had NFC chips in their hand and, like, magnetic fingers and implanted hearing aids. And he's like, wait a second, like, what's their name? What's their name? What's their name? Because it turns out that Wally met these people in Prospera who had the same thing. And sure enough, I showed them the telegram. I showed them his name, and he's like, "Oh my god, no way! Like that's the same guy I sword fought on the beach in Prospero with and electrocuted. Like we electrocuted each other." And I'm just like, in what world do these connections happen? Like it was just so crazy. And then Kyle, like he found me through a LinkedIn mutual crypto connection and even reached out to her hoping that she could get in touch with me. So that's my story of how I lost my wallet and passport at the Bitcoin Mansion party and then found it. So much of this day feels orchestrated. It's as though somebody wrote a symphony and I was just playing my part in it. Like I had to let go, surrender to the universe, to the flow of life, and just show up open-heartedly and with my energy and being myself, and it just worked out. Like it's beyond coincidence. It's crazy. I think I've literally hit a point where I have to surrender to that flow, like not blindly, still using my common sense, but be guided by my virtue and just like take one step forward. Because I mean, if Vegas taught me anything, it's that magic is real and you just have to be willing to play your part. Like, I really hope you guys enjoyed the story. And when I was thinking about how I can share this story, I thought what better way than by playing Call of Duty and doing a voiceover over it, because like that's how all my favorite YouTubers shared their stories from back in the day. So I really hope you enjoyed this and found it entertaining. And once again, it is Crypto Chuck. Peace.